All right, well, welcome everybody to Stock Analysis Friday on this April 5th, 2024. Great to have you on board. All right, so the purpose of Stock Analysis Friday is for me to take a look at stocks or ETFs you want me to look at, and I'm glad to do it. I'm glad to give you an analysis on that based on our software and how I look at the markets from a technical perspective. So a lot of people come to Stock Analysis Friday. They may have gotten a call from their broker suggesting a stock. So they come here and they get a second opinion from me from a technical standpoint. So please bring anything, all stocks you want. And if you have a question, you're about to go long on something or even short, we'll take a look at it here. All right, let me just go through a few administrational items before we get started. So let's go ahead and get going. First thing I have to talk about, of course, are the risks involved in trading. Like I always say, without that risk, there is no opportunity. So the two really do go hand in hand. But we want you to be aware of the risks and certainly prepare for them as best as possible. You can never take the risk 100% out of your trading. But we do have techniques to minimize that risk and also for you to at least have a good idea of what you're risking when you take a trade. So first thing you want to do to protect yourself, of course, is always use risk capital. Trade with money you can afford to trade with. And we call that, of course, risk capital. Second thing to do is calculate your trade size, also known in the industry as your position size, for every trade or even investment you're about to take. So that way, if the trade fails, you know in advance how much you could possibly lose and where you're going to get out. And then finally, because we're going to look at a lot of stocks today and I'm going to make a lot of recommendations, please consult your financial advisor before actually acting on the information we provide here. I don't know your personal situation, and of course they do, so that's really important. And then of course, we work in a realm of probabilities, so even if you have an edge in the market, you're not always going to win. So you have to use risk control on each and every trade, so please remember that as well. All right, now if you need help in risk control, I've got a few books available out there on money management. And so those are available at Amazon or major bookstores throughout the country. My newest book, The Art of Trading on the Far Right, is coming out later this summer, early fall. Really excited about that book. I think that's going to be the best book I've ever written. About 450 pages, so a big read, but a lot of great information on today's market, as well as some of our software that we've developed over the years. So you can check that out. I also have a great book published by McGraw-Hill on the Elliott Wave technique simplified. I know many of you, especially our clients, of course, have that book, but that's a book that can help you with a form of technical analysis called the Elliott Wave. So those are all available for you. Check them out. All right, before we look at charts, I just a quick little notation here. You're going to see our charts with a lot of software installed, a lot of indicators on there. And of course, that's our software. And you can get this on our website. I'm going to put a link up in the recording of this for you to have easy access to not only the software, but the books as well. So you can check those out on your own. But we have entries and exits software that looks at price patterns. We have scanning software and, of course, risk control software as well. All right, finally, give us a like, subscribe, take a minute and do that right now. That helps our ratings at the YouTube channel. And if you wouldn't mind just doing that, that would be a big help. And then I got one special announcement. Look at that. Today is my mom's 103rd birthday. So a shout out to my mom. This was from a visit that we made a few weeks ago to her. And she's doing surprisingly well at 103. So there you have it. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the charts here. Let me go full screen. And let's see what we've got cooking here as the market opens. All right, so first of all here, I'm going to start out with Bitcoin. There's a lot of interest in the cryptos here. And so what I want to do here is focus on the daily chart for a moment. We've got a pennant forming on Bitcoin. And so we're kind of waiting to see how this coin is going to break the pennant. A break to the upside, of course, is bullish. A break to the downside could be bearish. And if you know here, we're very close this is our owl indicator here, very close to going red here. And so if we go red here, we have to be looking out for a much lower target than what's been put in so far. Now, I think what's going to happen, because we've got bullishness here, I think we probably will see a break to the upside. That's what I'm anticipating. And that is my target to the upside on Bitcoin's around 75,000 to 83,895. So that's what the short-term target is indicating over the next month or so. We'll see what happens. But overall, long-term, we're very bullish on Bitcoin. So keep that in mind. All right. The other, of course, the other market I wanted to take a look at here are the ETF cryptos. And I want to quickly take a look at GBTC. A lot of people participate in the crypto market with GBTC. And it's in a very similar situation here. You can start to see the pennant forming here as well. And notice we have a whole bunch of unconfirmed fractal pyramids getting ready for the breakout. So there you have it. Okay, so I think crypto is in a critical time period here. Okay, either one more high before we get a more significant sell-off, or it could possibly enter into that sell-off at any time, depending on which way it certainly breaks out. All right, so keep that in mind. All right, I do want to take a look at silver as well. Silver broke out. We recommended this as a buy. We certainly looked at it last week, and I think the week before and the week before, and this was looking really good. Still looking good. We think this is a significant breakout for silver and a buy signal. We're now well above on the weekly chart on our far right. We're well above the compression channel. So that is a good sign, folks. So silver is on its way. So it looks really good. All right, let's jump in and see what people out there have for some stocks. And I guess, Al, I think you're the first one up. Let's take a look at RRC. See what's cooking with RRC. All right, so did not look at them yet, my opinion. Okay, so you're not long. And do tell me if you're long or considering a long or considering a short. That, of course, always helps. All right, let's take a look out on the weekly chart and see what's cooking. Let's open this up. So it's had a big move off the bottom. All right, really, it's been fairly bullish, I would say, for about 4 years now, even though it's been in a consolidation really for 2. So this is the consolidation here. This is the move up. So it stayed elevated for quite some time. All right, now, the situation here is that we had a slight higher high with bearish divergence. All right, so that's kind of interesting. Let's see how much data we have on this. Let's see how far that goes back. All right, so there you have it. So very similar to Bitcoin, so to speak. I would say at this particular point, the weekly chart is in a congestion area. We need a breakout from this congestion in order to see a definitive move. So again, critical time for RRC. Let's see what happens with that. It could break either way. It could also go into some profit taking. So that breakout will be important. Let's see, go to the lower time frames and see if that helps us even further. Okay, so what we're going to do is put that consolidation under a microscope here. So here's the consolidation. And on a daily chart, it's going to be much longer than what you see on a weekly chart, because every price bar on this chart represents a full day of activity, whereas the other chart I just showed you represents a full week of activity. All right, so we've got some bullish movements coming up, okay? Basically, back in February, we had a nice move up. We still have not broken this area here. So I'm still kind of looking for that. We've got a green PTF and also a green owl. So this is a PTF indicator, and this has a very high accuracy rate of 75%. And basically how you use it is take the highest price bar in this area, and there's a 75% probability that will go higher. Now, it doesn't mean we won't have a pullback. It doesn't tell you when, but knowing that information can, of course, be very helpful. So even though we've had a little bit of an adjustment here, all right, we're going to take a look at the lower time frame and see if that gives us an idea of whether this move down that we can slightly see on the daily chart is more involved on the short-term charts. But we should get more highs. All right, so there you have it. Now, the PTF is not giving us enough of a target zone here for us, Al, to get excited. So that's something we have to consider. Let's go and take a look at this lower time frame here. And we have a green here and here. Okay, almost going red here. I'm not crazy about this setup, okay? There's too much white down here. even if you went high, one more last hook, it's so mature in the trend that it would have been better to get in here than here. And so that's my concern. So I would pass on this one, okay? There's just not a great enough setup to really warrant the risk of a trade on that. All right, let's take a look at MDIA. MDIA. And give that a second to load. Okay. Well, this was one that definitely has sprung, right? If that price bar is correct, I guess it is. But wow, what a movement off there. All right, so what do you do on that? Well, I think that would have been a tough one to actually get long in on the weekly chart because it just happened right away. But on the daily chart, also kind of a tough one again. You know, here's where if you were looking for a breakout here from this channel going sideways, well, you certainly got it. Okay, so if your breakout top was here, then let me show you that. If it was like here, okay, then you had a breakout there. All right, so what do you do now? All right, pretty low liquidity earlier too when it was stuck in this channel. See those little dots on the chart? When you see that on a daily chart, that's not much activity and not much volume. All right, so that's what we call low liquidity. All right, unfortunately, it's I think at this particular point, it's pretty tough to figure out where this is going because there's only a few, 3 or 4 years of history on this. Not a lot to get a good take on where it's going. And with this type of breakout, you don't know at this point if it's just an aberration, all right, and an action on a news event, or there's something more behind it. I think I would wait and let it settle and then take a look at it again. Maybe it will pull back, to maybe $4 or $3. And then at that particular point, I would look at it again. I don't think I would chase it here. So this is a no-go, okay? But an interesting one to see anyway. All right, let's take a look at the next one on your list, CADL. Very similar, okay? Very similar stock here. You basically, on these big moves up, the question is this the beginning of something big? Or is this just something that is an aberration and we'll get a pullback? Or even if it is something big, are we going to get a significant pullback? Because if you get in at $7.71 and it goes down to a pullback area of 5 or in the 4s, you've almost lost 50% of your money on the open trade. So I kind of think I wouldn't chase these. I think I would find something a little bit better on the setup. All right, let's see what else we got here. All right, Stuart, how are you, Stuart? SCHW. All right, so, and I don't know if you're long, Stuart, on this. So if anybody types in symbols, just tell me if you're long or short or considering the trade. That helps me kind of help you, so to speak. All right, so we've got bearish divergence and we have a yellow PTF forming. So what happens is the yellow PTF is a neutral. So usually when you make that second high, and we did that, if the momentum is not strong enough to keep that PTF green, it turns yellow. And that's exactly what happened here. You've also had 1, 2, 3, 4 pyramids in a row. So that concerns me on the daily chart. I don't like to go in after 3 pyramids because it's really an indication that the trend could be a bit mature and I'm getting in late. So on this chart here, a little on the late side. Let's take a look at the weekly chart and see if that helps us determine what the long-term situation is on this. All right, so we had a fairly large pullback here. All right, so this is kind of interesting. We had a 1, 2. This is not a 3. This is not the configuration. Why? Because this is pulled back below the top of wave 1. So that negates the count. So this is probably more at this particular point here of a either a impulsive wave still unwinding, or we've got something else going on like a 1 or a 2. Not okay. So hard to get a really good fit on where this is going. So it's not setting up as the classic Elliott wave on the weekly chart. So again, I think I would avoid it. And again, Stuart, when you look at this, and you have a big trend like this, even on the 60-minute, look at all the white below where it is. So that indicates as soon as you see that much white down there, you have a situation where you have a lot of risk because that's a correction zone that's possible at any time. So I would kind of keep an eye on it. Let's take a look at LZ. All right, so LZ, only a few years of history. Looks like we might be coming off a bottom. We got a green PTF, which is really helpful because, of course, that is above this price bar, indicating that that's the highest price bar in that green area. So that's indicating there's a 75% probability we should go up. So that could warrant an early trade even before reaching that particular level. And so that's where the PTF can be very helpful as long as the lower time frames are not bearish. So we've got a situation here. Okay. So we still have a consolidation here. We got a down pyramid for a bearish market and an up pyramid forming for a bullish market. So we're kind of in a channel here, right here. And if we break down, this one will turn red. If we break up instead, this one will turn green. So right now, it looks like it should favor the green, but we could pull back even further and then have it go up like this. So let's look at the lower time frame, see if that helps us. All right, so we have a bearish pyramid active here. All right, so that's a no-go. All right, you got to wait for the lower time frames to get in better sync. So you may pull down to $10 on this before it actually goes back above the high that we're looking for it to go above on the weekly chart. So if this stays green and we get a turnaround here on the lower time frames, I'd be all over that. Okay, so let's put this one on a watch list. Bring this one next week. Okay. All right, let's see what your next one is. MAN, man. All right, so here we got MAN. All right, so man got a nice green PTF on both the center chart and the right chart, but a red one on the left chart. All right, we're also stuck in a consolidation. So let's wait and take a look at this one next week, okay? This is a no-go for right now. All right, let's see what Frank has to say here. All right, MCD, so McDonald's. Let's see what McDonald's has to say for us here. And where are you, Frank? There you are. Okay, if wave 5 is on the daily, how can you project potential downside? All right, let's see what we have. All right, how do you know you have a wave 5 on the daily? Okay, that's the first question. So let's take a look at that. All right. All right, so again, it bolted through a correction area we were looking at before. So this is very toppy, red PTF, a lot of white below, right? Okay, so if you're short right now, your stop should be here. And you're taking a bet here that the market is done making its highs and we're going down from here. You kind of got almost a double top here too. So that's pretty good, right? All right, let's take a look and see what the intermediate charts are showing. And let's get rid of this one here and see what we've got cooking here. All right, good. So a short position looks good here, Frank. All right, so I would hold that. Now, you are not in a wave 5. You are in a correction. And what we're thinking here is this could be the beginning of a massive correction on the weekly chart. So I would hold this one. All right, and bring it back next week. But right now we've got bearishness on the owl. We've got on the daily chart and an active pyramid down. We've got an active pyramid and bearishness on the lower time frame as well. And we're setting up for a big move down on the weekly chart. Now, see this position here? Okay, this is really quite something. So we're kind of coming down quite a bit on this. So let's see what happens with that, okay? I think that looks pretty exciting for sure. Okay, all right, so there you have that. So that is McDonald's. All right, Frank's back with GDRX. GDRX. Let's take a look. Okay. So on GDRX here, what we've got real quickly going on is we have a bottoming market. So let's open up this here and take a look at this long market that's stretched quite, it almost goes back to what, 2022? That's a long time. And this is why sometimes when you see a market that's channeling here, wait for the breakout. You know, in our turbo scanner, we have a breakout indicator or scan that we do on that. So while channels are a good thing to put on your watch list, try not to get in them until they start taking out some of the price bars that represent the top of the channel on a bullish trade, right? And you can see these also at the top of major trends too. So these can also be used for short trades at times. So on this chart here, we got to wait a little while. All right, we're kind of in this channel, and I'm not seeing right now a lot of evidence to get in this because I don't want you to get stuck in it for another 6 months to a year, unless this breakout that we had recently, last month or so, really comes and continues. So you want to be careful about that. Okay. All right, we do have some bullishness on the PTFs on this situation here, but let me just show you something here real quick. And that is that you have a deal here where you have this high here, okay? And that represents kind of like this high up way up here. And then you have this one here, which is represented here. So you're probably, it looks like we're going to get a breakup around here. So that's good. Let's let it clear that first, okay? So I think you got to wait a little while longer. You can certainly put this on a watch list and come back to it. All right, so let's keep going. Flow, F-L-O. Let's see what you got out there, Stuart. Let's do this. I'm just going to reposition this chart here. Let's do a duplicate window over here. Give me 1 second. I just want to reassess. Some of the price axis on that other chart got a little screwed up here. All right, so let's go back to flow, put that into the weekly, and there you go. See how that works. Okay, there you go. All right, so on flow here, all right, we looked at it before. It did not stop here, instead kept going down. So let's see what that means. That kind of means that this is probably a major 5, 3, 4, and so now we're heading down. So on this chart here, let's erase some of these drawings from previous times. So on this chart here, it looks like we're having a move to the upside. So I do want to redraw these. And basically, we're going to move it up to here. So we're probably in a crucial area here. Let's see if it keeps going or falls back to the downside. If this is a 5, then you can expect follow through back to the downside, because at the end of 5, you get a change, fairly significant major change in trend. So you've still got a red PTF over here. So I don't know if, again, Stuart, if you're going short on this or you're considering a long, but I would not take a long on that. And I'd probably wait for the rebound to end before thinking about a short, okay? All right, let's take another look at DocuSign. I think we've looked at this pretty much every week, so let's see what's cooking with that one. All right, so let's see what we got cooking. All right, this is one that we're kind of keeping an eye on, right? And we kind of want it to break to the upside. It hasn't done so with enough oomph yet, even though it looks like it certainly could. All right, we got a green PTF, which is indicating it should, on the far right-hand chart here, we should get above here, which would take it above that particular consolidation top, right? So that could warrant in itself an early trade. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the lower time frames and see if that helps us make sure it's bullish. Okay, so it's bullish here as well. All right, so that's a good sign. In fact, if you were going to use this PTF for an early trade, then this would have been the pyramid to take it on, right? And I think we may have said that earlier, unless you wanted to wait for that breakout to be actually confirmed by price. So you would have been in this already. You've got 4 pyramids, and it looks like right now on the 60-minute chart, we're in a little bit of a consolidation, maybe a slight move down is underway, but at this particular point, nothing really that serious. So if you wanted to make this a long-term trade where you plan to be in it for a couple years maybe, then, and you wanted to take an early entry, you could do so, but you're going to have to put your stop fairly far low to do that. Probably best to use a leap or an option on that. So it's not my favorite right now, because if you'd gotten in early, then it would have been better, or wait for the breakout and then go ahead and get in at that particular point. So if you wait for the breakout, what we're really saying here is that this consolidation we're in on the daily chart, all right, is temporary, and it's going to go up before it goes down. And that's the whole purpose of waiting for the breakout in case it goes down, and then you can get a better price when it reverses if it does. Okay, so again, personal preference, depending if a long-term trade, short-term trade, I wouldn't take it. Okay, so if you're looking for a position trade for a month or two, no. But if you're looking for a long-term trade, okay. All right, SWK, let's take a look at that. All right, SWK is also at the bottom. Looks like it's trying to break out there. We got bullishness on the lower time frames. A little bit of red creeping in on the 60-minute chart. I don't think that's going to be too serious with a green PTF. And my next question is, look at the volatility on that daily chart. Again, me personally, I like to look for things really clear. All right. I don't like to get into anything where you kind of got volatility, unclearness. The only clear thing I see on this is a weekly chart. So the only trade I would take is a long-term trade. There's not enough profit with the PTF on the daily chart, but there could be a trade on the weekly chart, and that trade would be simply to a fib retracement level. And you'd have to put your stop here. You don't really have a 2-to-1 risk to reward. So that is really at this point too late to take as well. So I don't think I would do anything. I'd sit on my hands, wait until this gets up to the target zone, and then maybe consider actually a short trade on that. Okay. So keep that in mind. All right. Oh boy, Eleanor, welcome. All right. On Good Friday, they had a little rumble in Massapequa, Long Island. 4.7 on the earthquake. Wow. Okay. For Long Island. Unusual. All right. And Gene, being from Massapequa originally, says, oh boy. Okay. So Bradley, how are you, Bradley? Good to have you here. All right. Excellent write-up, Bradley. He's telling me he's already long on PayPal, and he's looking at Tesla. Great job. Okay. Let's take a look at PayPal. All right. So you're long in PayPal. Let that load a minute. All right, so you're going long based on the bottom here. This is not a bad one, okay? So you've got a green PTF here on the right, not PTF, OWL here. You no longer have an active pyramid. What a great short trade that would have been. But now you're seeing a little breakout here, all right? I'd like to see it above here, but I can understand why you made the early entry green, not green. We have red, and we have red over here. Okay, so you're already long on this. I don't know where your stop is, but you need to keep your stop at least below this pyramid here. Okay, that second pyramid, that most recent green pyramid. Keep your stop here because it looks like we're heading down. I would not recommend this for anybody new because we are heading down according to this chart. It's not a big deal because it looks like, the PTF here, once it goes below this price here, which is around 63.5, we should see it turn yellow. And so you're just talking about a little bit more movement down, and then I would expect a reversal back to the upside. So keep your stop at this pyramid low. I'll even give you the number, but Bradley, I know you have our software. So the number low on that is 57.87. So get that stop no higher than 57.87. So don't have it any closer than that because you got to give it a little room. Okay. All right. Tesla. And I do think when it breaks out, you could double your money on PayPal, by the way. So I think it's a good risk to reward. All right, so Tesla. Let's take a look at Tesla long term. All right, so Tesla, big run up. Started in just around the year 2000 even, big run up. Had a big correction down, and now we're moving back down to test this bottom here. Not totally unusual after you have a new impulsive wave to come back down and test it. So we want to take a look at that. Let me just run some fibs here to see if we've got a problem. Yeah, this is pretty low here. It has not gone below, it has not gone into wave one. So if this is a 1, 2, 3, this technically could be a 4 because it has not gone into 1, just a very low. 15% of the time you have pullbacks that are significant and you're still heading down. So this is red, this is green, indicating that more highs are eventually coming. All right, so I would not go long at this particular point. Let's see, the other charts are showing bearishness here too. So hold off, okay? What you want to do, Bradley, here with the software is you kind of want to make sure that we don't have any active pyramids on any of the time frames, okay? So you have one here, you have one here, and technically you have your neutral here because you had a little bullish one that got stopped out. This is a good sign, but this red here is okay, not so good, and we can see a clear downtrend with lower lows and lower highs. Do have bullish divergence. So I would expect, let's see if this bottom holds here on the weekly chart. So let it come down as much as you want, and hopefully we'll see a reversal. And if we do, that's going to be a powerful sign, okay? So let's put this on a watch list for a long position. I love the fact that it's corrected because you're not chasing the market. All right, so we have had a good correction, and then we've had a big move up off the bottom. So really what we're trying to make sure is that this is the bottom, all right? And it looks like it's going to attack it again, but if it holds, which I think it probably will, then we should see a nice place to get in, okay? So give that a little bit more time to season. That's how I would play that. All right, Eleanor, how are you? All right, let's see, AAPL. All right, Apple. All right, you are long. Okay, so you're long Apple. Let's see what's cooking on it here. All right, let's go up here. All right, so we're kind of toppy, right? We've had move down, move up here. Okay, that's looking to me, Eleanor, like we got to be careful about the downside, right? A lot of white. Okay, so we've kind of gone up. We had that. We had one last hook up here. See the hook here? Remember the hook? So my hook is really on this right here, okay? So we've had that, and we have a bearish pyramid. So let's see. That's bearish. That's bearish. All right. So I think Apple could come down at this point. I think there's more risk in being long on this trade than flat. Hopefully you've made good money on it. I would consider getting out of it. Talk to your financial advisor. But if I was in this, me personally, and I was sitting on a lot of profit from the big move up, at this time, I would probably take those profits. Okay, but you need to talk to your financial advisor. There could be tax implications and things of that nature. So just make sure it makes sense for you. Okay, again, Apple being Apple, after this correction, let's say it comes down to 100 and then goes back up, you'll probably be happy years from now, but you may not be happy over the next year, so to speak. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right, AMD. Let's see what we got cooking here. All right, so for AMD, at least we have a green PTF on that weekly chart, so that's good. We've kind of calculated on AMD here. Let's open up this chart here and see what we got cooking here. I'm going to redraw this one because it's changed since the last time we looked at it. So we had a nice big move up here. Notice the large owl here. So wave 3. And now let's see where wave 4, if it's ending in a target zone. It probably is. So let's go to our drawing tools, go down to our fib retracements. Let's grab it from wave 2 all the way up. And yeah, we're in the target, okay? However, it looks to me like the target isn't quite, or the prices aren't quite done going down simply because of the red PTF. And this is where the PTF really is helpful, because it's indicating here that wave 4 is not over because it's still red, even though it's in the target zone and we may have a bottom. So that's the situation with that. So we're still in the target area, but it looks like we're going to go down a little bit more. And this is the 60-minute chart. So this is very short term. So after this, we may get another move back to the up as a wave 5. So once again, this would be a 3, 4. Once 4 is over, and then we'll have 5. All right, so that's the way it's looking short, really short term. Let's see what else is cooking. All right, let's go to the long-term chart here. So on the long-term chart here, you still have an active pyramid with a stop right under here. This is strong. This is good. So again, the million-dollar question is this going into a correction? Or are we still in wave 3? Okay, so there you have that. So this is a wave 3 still unfolding. So there's no matter what happens on this, there is a lot more upside. So if you're long term and you wanted to move your stop to the second pyramid down here to keep you in, that's fine. Or you could exit at this pyramid and then get back in, which is what we're really designed to do when trading these long-term charts as well. All right, so that is one analysis. We've got red here. We've got red here. Yeah, we're in a correction for sure. And I think we're probably in the target for the correction, but it's not quite done yet. So in this case here, I would probably at this point give it a little bit more time, and let's see if we get a turnaround on this. But if we go below that pyramid on the weekly chart, it goes much further down, you have an option to exit. Okay, you can always get back in. So keep that in mind. I would not take this as a long trade right now, however. Okay. All right, so APO is the next one. Again, if you're sitting on a lot of profits, you might want to take some off the table on that. Again, contact your financial advisor for the final call. All right, APO. All right, still in an uptrend on the weekly chart, an extended uptrend so far. Looks like we got more highs. So the next high this makes, all right, you kind of want to be a little careful on this one. So if you're still in this, put your stop right below here, because there's a lot of white down here. And then we're close also to actually going into a major correction, perhaps on the weekly chart too. So I think you need to be careful here. Okay, so keep an eye on that one. All right, good. All right, let's see what we got here. USO for Frank, also known as Biddy, from our day trading room. Frank, how are you? All right, let's see how we're doing here. Good day in the day trading room yesterday, right, Frank? All right, so let's see how we're doing here. All right, USO on the monthly. Well, on the monthly, woohoo, okay. Let's take a look now on the monthly. So what he's asking here, and I'll open this up, is what's going on with USO. So on the monthly, we have a red PTF, right? But we're still moving up. So we're kind of moving up into a corrective territory on USO. So unless that PTF changes, the bottom's not technically in. But then the next question is, where is the bottom here? Okay, so that's kind of indicating here. Let me just make sure I get the right. That's indicating here, if this is a 3, this is a 4, this is a 5, 5's not over yet. All right, so we're kind of in a retracement up here, and we may get a retracement before 5 completes. So my target on this is around $100. So I'm thinking that retracement will go right into that area. I didn't want to do that. Right into this area close to 100. Now let's back it off to the weekly chart. Okay, so give that a second to load. So on the weekly chart here, what I'm thinking here is that if I grab my extensions here, I'm thinking right about in this ballpark here, right around 98 to 124. So that would be where I think this move up is going to stop. So I think probably during the summer at some point, we'll get to that target. All right. So, this would be a good opportunity to take a quick long trade for that. We recommended this a while back. It's getting a little bit too close to the target in terms of risk to reward now. So I probably am not going to recommend it. I mean, just look in the last 5 days how much it's gone up. Okay. So, we first recommended this thinking there was a bottom back in this area here. So it really made good sense to take the trade, good risk to reward. But now, basically, if you're in it, I'd hold it. If you're not in it, I probably think you can find a better risk to reward candidate. Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Frank. Thanks, Biddy. All right. So, Stuart, PFE. In our trading room, we all have nicknames. And if you want to find out the others, you have to join it. Okay. That'll be my sales plug for the futures day trading room. All right, so let's take a look at PFE. All right, Pfizer here and see what's cooking. All right, so we've had a nice downtrend. Boy, the pyramids did a great job capturing this downtrend here and here. Awesome job. All right, so I don't think I would go long on this one. Not the bottom is not may not be in. We have a red PTF here, so we're still testing the bottom. So again, and you have an active pyramid here, and you technically have an active one here. So keep watching it. I think it's a good one to keep on a watch list, but it is not ready for a long trade yet. Okay, still coming down. It's too late to short, not ready for a long. All right, Nike, NKE. All right, let's take a look at Nike. So Stuart's looking for a bottom on these, and I think that certainly makes sense. We had let's open up that weekly chart for a moment. So classic Elliott wave 3, okay, 4 bottom could be in. And it looks like it's going to test it again, maybe a double bottom here. So let it do its thing, but definitely put this one on a watch list, because as soon as this move down subsides and if that bottom holds, then this is one you want to take, okay? So we've got active pyramids to the downside on the daily chart, sorry, with a green PTF. So after this move down, all right, we should start to see movement back up. So I'd say let's try to look at this next week. This is probably getting close. The 60-minute chart on the far left's got a lot of red still, so it's not ready yet, but we'll keep an eye on this one. So bring this one back, Stu, for next week, okay? All right. All right, so Frank's after me here. Frank, he says, Ben, you did not answer my question. If you have a confirmed wave 3 followed by a potential wave 5 on the daily, is there a way of projecting the downside? You need to go to a longer time frame, Frank, to do that. So if you have a wave 5 on the daily, that means you've ended some form of a trend. I'm assuming it's an uptrend. Let's say you ended the uptrend. Then the next question is, now you have a change in trend. So what you do is you go to the higher time frames, like the weekly chart or even the monthly if you have to, until you see clarity on where the next move could be. All right, because don't forget, fifth wave on the daily will indicate the end of some form of impulsive wave on the longer time frame weekly chart. And from there, you can get a handle of it. Let's say you ended wave 5 on the daily and that ended a wave 3 on the weekly. Then you could draw your fib retracements on the weekly, and that would show up where wave 4 would be, and that would be your new target. Okay, good question. All right, Gene, back to you. Give us a like today. Thanks so much. All right, yep. And Eleanor, Disney, DIS. All right, hold. Okay, so you're long in this. Oh, the coin, love it. All right, Coinbase. All right, so we'll take a look at that one too. Good ones. Yeah, I would hold this. Okay, Disney is still moving up. Yeah, you have a lot of white down here. There's no question about it. I would have a pyramid set up here, but it looks to me like you're going to get one more hook to the upside. So I would keep looking at this every week. I don't know what your intentions are long term. All right, can be different than a shorter term trade in terms of how long you're going to hold this, right? So I'm looking for one more hook to the upside. And if you're position trading this, then I would look for a way out. Okay, I'd dump it somewhere as soon as the market turns. So you're getting a little bit of a move down here in the hook of the hook. All right, but you should see some type of recovery because you got a green PTF. So this again is your hook. And for those of you that know how much I like the hook, I always draw in the shark, right? Because the shark goes after the bait. And there it is. All right. So you got one more move, I think, to the upside before we can reel in that shark. Okay. So keep that in mind. All right. Let's say CELH. CELH. All right. So this one has done really nicely, especially lately, right? All right. So the concern I have for this is it looks to me like we've exceeded the target, but look what happened here. Okay. This is kind of an interesting situation. All right. So notice here that this is a wave 3, but however, when we drew this fib retracement in here, look what happened. We were probably right around here. So we were looking, instead of a 3, we were looking for the top of a 5. All right. And you have bearish divergence. So you always have to have bearish divergence to qualify a wave 5, right? But now as time went on, because we haven't looked at this in a while, since that owl exceeded the previous ones. So from a technical standpoint, this here top indicated the end of wave 3, because these are the minor waves inside, right? So now we're in a major wave 4, looks like, because we're red here. So after wave 4, we should go back up. So do you hold here? Good question. All right. So now, my question is going to be back to you. Are you a long-term investor or a trader on this? Because look at the owl on the weekly. So you've got wave 3s. This is a wave 3 inside a wave 3 in a longer term chart. So you got a lot more highs coming, but you're going to have to suffer if you hold this a downdraft that we're in now that's not over. Okay. So if you were a more short-term trader, you would have probably exited after the swing up, right? Okay. And you can see that the pyramids here for a very short-term trader would have exited too. So if you're long-term and you don't mind waiting a little bit of time for more highs, just put it under your pillow and forget about it. If you're a short-term trader, then you want to be out, or at least consider where the next move down could possibly be on that. So let's remove this down here. So if this is going into a major 4 here, then let's draw a fib retracement for you and kind of figure out where that move down is going to be, because this is kind of a big deal here. We don't really have a hook yet here. So I think probably we're going to have one more of those hooks. So let's dump this over here and redraw where I think the next high is going to be. And this is why I like to look at multiple time frames. So we're probably looking at a high around 107 to 127. And then after that, that will probably be the next major move down after that. So I would hold it. Okay. I think you're okay. All right. Coinbase. All right. So this is the ETF for Coinbase. Okay. Crypto. And like I said, I think cryptos are in a very crucial time right now. In coin, we're expecting to have a move down into this target zone. We haven't quite hit it yet, but I would not say it's not out of the realm of possibilities. It's either going to dip down or we hit the 15% retracement already and we could go up. All right. So when they don't go into the target zone here, you have to be suspect, because only 15% of the time do they make another high. Let's go to the daily chart to see what's going on here. So we have no green PTFs on the lower time frames. We're still in a major, massive move up. Long term, this is going higher, folks. Much higher. Okay. Short term, what we're trying to do is time this swing. So I would keep your stop, all right, on this level here if you want to get out on the next swing down for right now. But
connection lost.
But that'll get you out at around what, 240. All right. So if we go back down to that target, we're going to 203, 152. So that's pretty much lower. So I probably would get out there if I was swing trading this and then try to get back in. But make no mistake about it, coin and the cryptos are still in a massive bull market. And a lot of these pullbacks are great accumulation opportunities. There will come a day, and I think it's going to be late in 2024, where we're going to have to look at a possibly the end of a major cycle on crypto. We'll see. Okay, so anyway, that's I guess I would hold that one for now. All right, let's see. All right, Gene, you're funny. I see your comment there. All right, here, I'll put it up there regarding nicknames. All right, so Alexander, let's see here what we got. How are you, Alexander? ARM, ARM. Long. Okay, so you're long on these. All right, not a lot of history, right? Okay, hard to get an Elliott wave readout. So let's see what we can do here. The nice thing about this, at least, it gave us a really big move up. So that's an impulsive wave, whether that's a 1 and we'll get a 2 and then a 3. It's hard to say. This is indicating a 3 right now simply because it's the swing currently. So I guess we're going to be in a 4. We should see more highs at some point because the PTFs are all green. All right. So if you're long on these, then your stop loss, your stop point is going to be critical. I don't know where you got long, but let's draw up a potential retracement area for this. And let's go ahead and draw it from here to here. So you're already in the target. I think I would just stay with it. Okay. You might come down a little bit more, but you got a green PTF there. So we may be close, but there's your target. So we should have, after this correction is over, we should have more highs, right? So keep that in mind. Now let's just see for fun, if this is let's just say this is a 3, then you have an A, we have a big B, and now we have a C. All right, so C's got to be at least, it's got to take out the bottom of this A, unless, because I don't see an ABC in there. So I'm thinking you're probably going to go down a little further, maybe around 114, maybe 103, who knows, but it's tough to get that kind of read out of it. But I would say wave 4 is not quite over yet, but you're close. So probably I would hold it, okay? All right, let's take a look at TSM. All right, so TSM here. All right, if you're long here, you got a beautiful pyramid right here to put your stop on, okay? I'm hopeful you're not getting in late in trends, because if you're getting in up here, all right, that, you've had 1 pyramid, 2 pyramids, 3 pyramids, it's risky, okay? Here's your 4th. So, there you have it. Long term, we should make more highs, but there's a lot of white down here. So, you got to decide if you're trading this on a position trade or a long-term trade, and you've got a red PTF on the 60 indicating, we're heading down still on this movement correction. So we'll see. Let's just see if that red PTF is around 135. So that's still above the pyramid. Okay. All right. BX. Let's take a look at that one. All right. And you're long on this one. And you've got a nice pyramid right here, a bullish pyramid. This is how we play these. We put the stops at the bottom of the fractal low of that pyramid. So that's kind of where you're at now. We got red coming in. Again, it all depends on where you got in, on what you want to do, okay? It looks like on this, we've got a 3, 4, 5 on the weekly, but, it could take years to get up above its previous all-time high right here. That's the problem, okay? So I don't know if this is a position trade or if this is a swing trade, but probably are going to get a little bit more correction here. So I'll leave that up to you. All right, Stuart, ETHE. Let's take a look. All right. Ether futures. Let's see what we got here. All right, so we looked at this one before. we had a top in here for a 5. And again, very similar. Now we got a 3, right? So let's redraw these. I guess we've been a while since we've looked at these. This one anyway. All right, so we'll see here. Let's reanalyze this. All right, so what changed on this is that we got an owl higher than when we looked at it before. This was the higher owl before. Now it's changed. All right, so basically, all right, wave 3 coming down on it looks like a wave 4 correction. Let's figure out where the correction territory is. Ooh, let's see. I would say we're going to go here to here. I like to do it off to wave 2 and 3. So we're in the target already. So no long trade yet. I don't think you short, Stuart. So I think you're looking at this from a long trade, but this is not ready yet. All right. We have red pyramids on the lower time frames. So it's still coming down. But after you get here, okay, after this finishes, and it should finish in the target zone, then you're looking at a real good trade, because this is green over here. So it's still very powerful. We're just going to come down. This pyramid will probably keep you in. Okay. But you may want to run the fibs on this and just make sure your stop is below the lower portion of a fib retracement, which would be with 17.474. Make sure your stop's not even higher than that. Okay. See how that pyramid is so close to that? That has a low of 17.02. So that should hold. Okay. That should hold. All right. So if you're long term and you're holding this, you can hold it. If you're short term, you should have been out already on this pyramid here. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful run up with the pyramids, but you should have been out here. Okay. All right. So that is that one. All right. William, how are you? All right. Let's see. All right. So I don't know if you're long on these, but let's take a look. Maybe thinking about them. All right. Let's take a look at this one here. Okay. So not a lot of history on this. We got a movement down. We got a red PTF on the 60-minute chart and a bearish pyramid still active there. We took out the bullish pyramids on the weekly chart. So at this particular point, don't go long on this. Now, I wouldn't go short, because what we want to see is we want to see if this bottom, all right, is going to hold right here. Okay. So let's see, but I wouldn't go short, and it might not hold. So not nothing on that. Let's see BLDP. Now BLDP we looked at a while back, quite a while back, and we kind of thought it was coming off the bottom here, and then it made one more low. So we need a little bit of proof that we are in good shape here. We still technically got an active pyramid to the downside. This is good. Things are turning bullish there. Still a bearish long-term weekly chart. All right. So we're trying to catch a bottom here, but not quite. It's not quite ready yet. Now, I will say, all right, when this finally does bottom and move up, it'll be a great trade. What I'm concerned about here is we may reach a bottom, but then it may just stay stagnant until the market improves for this particular stock and it moves up. So you kind of don't want to get stuck in a long-term channel. All right. It just kind of erodes your capital, you know. So I would wait on this one. Okay. I wouldn't do anything with that. Let's do PHYS. And if you were long, you would have been stopped out on that. All right. Let's take a look at this. All right. This one's not very bullish. So again, you don't want to chase markets on this. So would it have been better to get in here? Yeah, but you had a red PTF, so you wouldn't have done that, right? You would have had to wait for it to break the channel. So the pyramid is still active, but the PTF kept us out until it breaks the channel. And then you can take it. All right. And then you put your stop under there, which is almost under the pyramid. But the problem is now it's run away from us. All right. We're having bearish divergence starting to build here. So you've got a, on a short-term basis, probably, is it going to make more highs? Yeah, but it's Russian roulette on where this thing could end, because it's already in a target zone. So let's take a look and see what this is telling us. All right. So we had a big move back up in 2012, long-term move down, even took out its low here. And then we had a fresh start here. So maybe a 1, 2, maybe it's in some form of a 3. But again, this is not a good place to get in. So I wouldn't do this one either. Keep an eye on it. If it pulls back and things still are extremely bullish on it, we can consider it then. Okay. Thank you for that. Good. All right. Let's see what else we got here. All right. And a good morning to you as well, Bill. All right. And okay, Gene wishing Alexander happy Friday. Okay. So anything else? Any more coming in? Let's go over and see what Bitcoin's doing real quick here. Let me just take a look at the actual coin and see. All right. I'm really watching this for this channel here. Okay. You know, this pennant we got drawn here. Looks like, according to the PTFs, it should resolve to the upside, which is what I think is going to happen. So we'll see. Short-term target on this on the next high is around 75 to 84 on Bitcoin. And that's 1,000. All right, let's keep going. All right, what do we got here? We got Mara. I know we've looked at that one before many, many times. Let's take a look and see what's cooking on this bad boy. All right, so Mara is one of these that we had bearish divergence, okay, meaning the trend was over, okay, boom. All right, so there's wave 5, over. And so this is a great one because this will answer, I think, Frank's question on this. You know, what do we do with this? All right, so let's remove this stuff because it's already hit our short-term target. Okay, so what do you do? Okay, you're out of the market. All right, right now. All right, so this is fairly still bullish. We got a bullish pyramid here. Short term, we would have gotten out on this slight move down here. We no longer have a green PTF. So kind of tough to get a handle on where that's going, right? Okay. Not much help. Let's see here. All right, so before, when we drew this target and we basically, this was a 5, 3, 4. So now it's in a correction mode and not very clear on where we're going now at this point. Look at the chart. So here's an example of we reached our target, but we're not going to take a trade in the opposite direction because we can't figure out really a good target of where it's going. So why trade it? Okay. DJT, let's take a look at that one. All right. So this is Trump's DJT stock, and it moved way up and now it's coming back down. So we got a pyramid and a fairly large owl still active on the weekly chart. On this chart here, we got bearish divergence. We do have a green PTF over here, which is kind of interesting. So this is kind of, if this holds, all right, then that's kind of interesting. So we got an active pyramid here. Okay, so here's how you play this. Thank goodness for 3 time frames. And look, we do not now have a green pyramid. It turned red, and we have a red pyramid. Okay, so you can't go long on this, all right? If you're holding it at this particular point, you're probably holding it emotionally because you would have been stopped out already, okay? So I wouldn't do anything with this. Let's see how intense this pullback, where it's going to end before we actually get excited. Because here we've had the 3, we've had the 4. You can count them on the owl, 5. All right. So this could be a 1 up. We could be in the midst of a 2. We could even come down and form a double bottom, and then it could go. All right. We'll have to wait and see. But I wouldn't go long here. Okay. If you are already long on an early entry, yeah, you could hold it because, you know, you don't have a loss. Okay, long term. But if you were trading it more short term, you would have been out. Okay, but I would not go in yet because the lower time frames are not that bullish, obviously. All right, so let's see, XHB. Let's take a look at this one, and you can hold that for a short, Alexander. Okay, if you, and I don't know if are you long and short on these or what? I wouldn't go short on that DJT because it's too late. All right. On this one here, no short. Okay. No short. Not quite rolled over enough for a short. I get what you're thinking because here's a lot of white down here. We got bearish divergence building inside this move to the upside. This is a 3 because this now is higher than this. So you're getting ready for a massive 4, but we need this to roll over a little bit more. Also, 2, we haven't quite, this hook is too big. Usually what we see is a little bit more of a hook like that before it moves down. So that's kind of what I'm thinking on that. And if you look at this, this will form the hook. So this is a 3, 4, 5. 5 will be the hook. Okay. So don't short it yet. Wait until we get a 5th wave completed on the 60-minute chart. Okay. And we see some rolling over. But yeah, I think that's not so bad for a possible short because it's fairly clear in the future, but not right now. All right. Very interesting. Okay, so he got in at 18. Let's see what you got in it. Okay. All right, so you got in at 18. All right, and it's sitting at 42 right now. We got a red here. Well, I think probably I would probably, me personally, if you got in at 18, I would exit. But that's me, okay? Mainly we have bearish divergence. I'm not sure how far down this is going to go. And we got a bearish pyramid on the 60, okay? Because then you could get back in if this moves down back to where you bought it and wait until you see bullishness coming back because you don't have any bullishness really on these short-term charts. You do have it predominantly on the weekly chart still, but that doesn't mean you can't correct. Okay. All right, cool. All right. So I would cover that. But again, talk to your financial advisor just to make sure. All right. So yeah, you did pretty good on that. Good profit. All right. Anybody else? Do you know we found no trades today so far? And that's kind of new for us because normally we find a handful at least. So that is interesting and maybe telling that the market is kind of lofty and maybe teetering on some type of pullback that's coming, right? That is very possible. Let me just run over. For those of you that are interested in an overall market analysis, I do that on Wednesdays. So keep that in mind. Yeah, we're kind of coming down, see? That's why we're not finding anything right now. It's a little too early to short on some of those stocks we looked at, but the market itself, it's due for a correction. Now, I don't think this correction is going to be a change in trend. So I expect higher highs to come back. I don't think we're going to get a massive sell-off. I do expect a massive sell-off towards the end of the year into 2025. But I do, looking at this, I would expect maybe one more high before we have anything like that. So maybe a correction for a month or so here, and then we get things ironed out, maybe 2 months, hard to say. We'll see. We have to still go below some of these support levels on the daily chart, like right around here, for me to get more confirmed that we're not going to have one more move to the upside. All right. Short term. So short term, I'm expecting profit taking. So we may be entering that now. And that's why we're not seeing a lot of stocks. Okay. Kind of interesting. Yeah. So very, very interesting. All right. So Alexander, you're welcome as well. All right. So listen, let me just do a quick wrap up here. Again, all right. The only ones we have going are the ones on the watch list. So we put LZ, Tesla, TSLA, Nike, NKE, and HXB for a possible short. But those are not to be taken. Those are only for the watch list. All right. So anyway, have a good week. All right. We've got the eclipse coming up on what, Monday. That'll be exciting. I think in our area, we're in Arizona, it's going to be, I guess, right around 70%, not 100%, but close. So it'll be kind of interesting to see it. And I think the next one now won't be for another, what, 21, 22 years or something. So take a look, but remember to wear your special glasses or whatever. All right, so we'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us. I'm going to put some of the short-term charts up there. So let me go full screen back, and we'll see what's cooking on some of the shorter time frames. And let me just get this all plugged in so we get a look at what's going on. And it looks like we're going into a correction on the M2K. I don't think that's quite over. Let's see what we got cooking here on that. So possibly somewhere along, yeah, probably a pullback to around 2083. Let's see what the S&P is here. Yeah, the S&P's had a nice little run up as well. So I think these probably are due for a correction. Notice the bearish divergence building in here. Okay, so too late to go long for a day trade right now. All right, instead, it may pull back and give you an opportunity for a short trade for sure. Okay, so we'll wait and see, but it's still kind of perking its way up there. So if you were trading this stock, would be at the pyramid. All right, I'm just going to leave it here for now. Okay, and you guys can watch this, and we'll see you next week. So let me get rid of this little device here so you can see more chart. All right, now you're good to go. All right, so let's see what we get here. All right, wait, I got one more. William's asking me, let's see, are the 2020s going to be like the 1920s, roaring 20s? Your thoughts? Well, honestly, you know, we've been looking for a major correction since what, 2022? And the market has just been going up. So, you know, we're still in the process of putting in a top, I think, of a wave 5 on the daily chart, which would be a wave 3 on the weekly chart. So my feelings on that, Bill, is that, yes, a major bear market is around the corner. A lot of people think it's going to happen in April, this month. I don't think so. I see a pullback over the next couple of months, and then I see more highs. And if I may change my tune if this pullback is deeper than what it should be. But for right now, I stick with the probabilities that should indicate right now the best we can forecast is from a technical approach, is a profit-taking pullback at this time. So I think a profit-taking pullback followed by more highs to get us solidly into the target. And then after that, a major sell-off. And if things change, we'll let you know. Okay, but that's kind of where I'm looking at it now. But yes, I think after the election, and I think maybe towards the end of the year 2025, the market could be in a bear market at that point. So we're not in a bear market right now, but it can shift awful quick. All right, so that's a good question. All right, and again, I try to answer that kind of question in our Wednesday sessions, where I do a market review that's free here on YouTube. And I also cover Bitcoin, and I cover the real estate market too. So you may want to check that out as well. All right, thanks everybody. Have a great week, and we'll see you back here next week. I'm going to put a little music on and just keep it on the E-mini here, and then close the room in a bit. Have a great one. Thanks so much for coming. And no, don't forget, give us a like.